checking it was recording. Hi, hope everyone's okay. How you doing? It's like lockdown day, whatever it is. So I've not done any videos for a while because of things going on other than COVID-19. I'll go into more about COVID-19 later, but we've had a really dramatic time going on. It's been the scariest time of my life. So I'm just going to do this video as like kind of an update as to what's been going on, why I've not been filming, why I've not been updating a lot on social media and things like that. Currently filming in the car. This is a new car. I'll explain why we've got a new car as well. So yeah, it's currently the 5th of April. It's a lovely Sunday afternoon. The reason I'm filming in a car is because the baby's napping. Big Mark is working from home because of COVID-19, so as much as he's not working, he's on his computer, so I can't really film anywhere in the house because I don't want to wake the baby up just yet. So I've decided to get out the house, come and sit in the car for a little bit and film this video just to update everyone on what's been happening in our lives. So about 7 weeks ago, Big Mark started feeling ill, quite ill. Thought it was just a bit of food poisoning or something that he'd ate, so we just kind of put it down to that. I had a few days off work, and it started getting worse, the pain, and he wasn't eating anything. He wasn't comfortable lying in bed, he wasn't comfortable sleeping, he wasn't comfortable doing anything whatsoever. It was starting to affect him walking. He couldn't pick the baby up, he couldn't do anything without it being in pain, and I started to get quite worried. But obviously, being a man, generally they don't like to admit either that they're ill or that there might be something worse or anything like that, so he wouldn't go to the doctors or anything. I left it for a couple of days, and then one night he got really bad. He was complaining of being really cold, like shivering, to the point of shivering. I'd take his temperature, he had a temperature, like bordering on fever. He was sweating profusely. It was like the sheet that he'd like wrapped himself up in was like soaking wet, which was probably making him cold, but he was actually boiling hot, like to touch and things like that. And I got really scared and really worried and kind of just said to him, right, I'm ringing an ambulance, there's nothing. How weird was that? I don't know if you've seen that, but an ambulance drove past as I said ambulance then. Anyway, I told him I was ringing an ambulance. He said no. He started to perk up a little bit because he wasn't himself at all. And then I said, fine, I'm ringing 111. We'll get a doctor out, or I'll take you to see a doctor or anything. Obviously I've got the baby at this point as well because it's like the middle of the day. And then he was like, no, I've got a conference tomorrow, I need to do that, and you know, I'm fine, don't worry. And he did start to pick up a little bit. His temperature came down, he sat up, he had something to drink, he was drinking more. So I said to him, okay, I'm still worried, so you're going to the doctor's tomorrow? No, ifs, ands or buts. So he was like, okay, I'm going to have a conference in the morning, make it for the afternoon. So I made the appointment for the afternoon. That was the Friday afternoon. He had his conference in the morning, and then just like an online conference, and then I took him to the doctor's with the baby, and we were literally in the doctor's like 5-10 minutes. He told him everything. Doctor basically took one look at him, realised how ill he was just by looking at him, had a little feel of his stomach, and was like, right, Mr. Lawton, get yourself straight to A&E. Luckily enough, our doctor's is literally like next door to the A&E. So I was like, okay, we're going to get you to A&E. He thought it was appendicitis, and he was like, you're really ill, you've left it too long, get straight to A&E. So we made our way to A&E. We made a decision that we didn't want little Mark in an A&E department if he doesn't need to be. We didn't want him in that environment. As I say, this was weeks before the COVID-19 outbreak or anything like that. We just didn't want him in an environment that he didn't have to be in. So I dropped Big Mark off at the A&E entrance and then came home with little Mark to get a bag together because I knew he'd be staying in. So I got home, I started to get a bag ready, rang Mark's mum and dad to come down and either go and see Big Mark or look after little Mark while I went and seen him in the hospital and stuff. And I'd literally like just done that, and then Mark texted me saying he'd seen like the triage. What had happened was he went in and gave his name in, gave his details, went to see the triage nurse, and I don't know whether it was like kind of the adrenaline that had like kind of dumped, or like he was trying to pretend that he wasn't in enough pain in front of me and little Mark, or he was just trying to stay strong or whatever. But for whatever reason, he depleted and like went into a little bit of shock and started shaking and uncontrollably, and was a little bit unresponsive and things like that. And the nurses kind of rushed the consultant down to have a look at him, get him stable, stuff like that. And he was sent straight for like CT scan and stuff like that to find out what was actually going on, and they seen the appendix and they started prepping him for surgery. So I literally got a text saying that they'd kind of rushed him to a bed and to get a scan. And then when I got there, we were just waiting for the scan results to come back, and it was getting quite late. Little Mark needed to excuse me, I'm getting a little bit, I knew I'd get a bit upset, but I'm getting a bit choked up. Little Mark needed to go down for bed and stuff like that, so Big Mark was just like, go home, you know, sort little Mark out, I'll see you tomorrow. So I was like, okay, fine, or I'll see you tonight. I don't know why I thought he'd see me tonight, but anyway, I came home, and literally after being in the house 30 seconds, Mark texted me to say that they were prepping him for surgery. And I hated it because I couldn't be there with him while he was kind of waiting to go down for surgery. He's never had surgery or anything. Excuse me for getting upset. I'm going to try and just talk my way out of being upset. It was a really horrible time, and I haven't really talked about it or anything. So, give myself a minute. So they prepped him for surgery that night. I put little Mark down for his sleep. Mark's mum and dad went home, and then I just stayed up all night. Me and Mark's mum were just like texting each other constantly. I was ringing the hospital every hour. They must have got so annoyed at me ringing the hospital constantly. But I'd be ringing. I found out the ward that he was going to be discharged to after his surgery, so I kept ringing that to see if it was hours and hours and hours, and I'd kind of researched and had to look into how long an appendix surgery takes, and I took into account that he'd be in recovery and things like that. But apparently that surgery only takes like an hour and a half, you know what I mean? But this was like 5-6 hours, and I was like, where the hell is he? Why haven't I had any updates? Anyway, the ward that he was supposed to be on, 1 hour when I'd rang, and it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, she was like, oh, he's not coming to this ward anymore. And I was like, okay, shit, he's going to HDU. And I was like, okay, thanks very much, I'll ring them. Put the phone down, and then realised what HDU stands for, and it's high dependency unit. And I was just like, oh no, he's going to high dependency unit. Why is he going to high dependency unit? What's gone wrong? It was the scariest. I think it was the only time I'd kind of wanted little Mark to wake up in the night, just to kind of give me that little bit of interaction with him, take my mind off what was going on. But it was so scary. Anyway, I finally got the phone call that he was safe, he was out of surgery, he was back on the ward, I could go and see him tomorrow. And I think that when we went to see him the next day, I was just kind of like, it was awful because he was in such a state. He was on oxygen, he was not himself, used to seeing this big strong man, and he was ill. But I was so happy to see him. I was so relieved to see him. I was so happy that no matter what else could go wrong now, he's out of surgery, he's fine, he's alive, he's in recovery, he's recovering well. And then, so that was 6 weeks ago, just over 6 weeks ago. He's still recovering. It's took him a long time to recover. He's still got like infection and stuff, so his wound is still healing. He's still kind of on the mend. He's not doing anything as physical that he normally does. So in short, the reason we got a new car was, I laugh about this with him, he's always wanted like this car, and it was kind of a, thank God you didn't die. You can have any car you want. So we got him this car, and he loves it, but he still can't drive it because he's still recovering. So I'm enjoying driving it round, and little Mark's enjoying getting chauffeured round, and Big Mark's enjoying getting chauffeured round. But so obviously we've been quite enclosed anyway. We had to cancel little Mark's first birthday party because obviously that would have been a week after Big Mark had got out of surgery, and it would have been too much for us all to kind of handle. So that was fine. We celebrated, just us, a little tiny little happy birthday, which we enjoyed and he enjoyed. And luckily enough, he's young enough to not really understand. He's just happy for the attention and us singing happy birthday to him. So little Mark's 1 now. He's just coming on so much. He's loving having his dad at home while he was recovering. But it frustrated Big Mark because he couldn't do anything. He couldn't pick up little Mark. He could interact with him, obviously talking and laughing and playing, but couldn't sit on the floor with him, couldn't pick him up, couldn't do any of the physical stuff that he wanted to do. It's only now that he's kind of getting used to getting past him and holding him, taking him out the car, things like that. He's getting a lot better and a lot stronger in that way. But it's going to be a long recovery, and he understands that, and I think we're all just kind of thankful because we've been through that experience. And I can't thank the staff in the hospital, NHS, it's an amazing hospital. It was kind of one of those moments where it took a while for family to get up here because we've moved out of Liverpool, so it was a while to get like family arranged to help out and things like that. We'd kind of moved away from our support unit and things like that, so that was tough. And it was kind of like, did we make the right decision moving out of the area and bringing our family out the area and raising a family out the area? But I think with having the hospital being as amazing as they were, our doctors being as good as they were, I think that kind of solidified we'd made the right decision by moving out here. All of the negatives were overshadowed by the positives, so we're happy we made that decision. So we were just getting used to kind of getting back out and possibly making arrangements for a party for little Mark and spending days out and things like that while Big Mark was recovering. And COVID-19 happened, which just kind of fluffed all our plans and ideas. We just didn't expect it. I think it's not affecting us that much. I'm going to do a video on how we're kind of surviving and what we're doing, and as a family, we are staying home. We love staying at home anyway. We are all home birds, thankfully enough. We are only going out to get Mark's dressings changed, which is a necessity at the minute. And then if we need shopping while we're out, that'll be the kind of the time where I'll run out and get what we need to get, do what we need to do. But that is the only time that we're going out. That whole thing has just really put a lot of perspective on time, and we appreciate every day more than ever, because we appreciate a lot anyway, but we appreciate little things a lot more now. So the weight loss has kind of been put on hold. We had plans to start trying for another baby. We were going to start fertility treatment, which got put on hold because of Mark's appendicitis. But we believe everything happens for a reason. We've got all the time in the world. We've got little Mark. We're not in any rush to have any more kids. We do want more kids, but if it doesn't happen for whatever reason, we are overly happy with our family. So a lot's been going on, but not a lot's been going on at the same time. I lost a bit of weight, obviously with the stress and worry. It was more worry than anything else. And so I lost a bit of weight during those couple of weeks. But that's basically it. I haven't really been doing any exercise routines or anything. Little Mark was out of his routine while Big Mark was in hospital, because obviously we took little Mark in to see him once, but then we didn't take him in because we didn't want him in that environment. The unit that he was in was quite an intense unit, so we didn't want a baby kind of disturbing other people that their relatives might be visiting as like an end of life type of thing. So we made that decision not to take little Mark in. So we were so thankful that Mark's parents were kind of there to look after little Mark for me while I'd run in and out the hospital to see him and stuff, which they loved because they got to spend more time with little Mark. But that whole kind of couple of weeks knocked little Mark out of his routine for a bit, and he started towards the end of it realised that I was gone quite a lot. So it'd mess up his sleep routine and stuff, but we're back on routine now. The COVID-19 hasn't affected little Mark's routine. He's still eating amazing. He's starting to try and walk, but he's realising he can get everywhere by crawling, so he's not making the effort to move. And that's it. I'm going to do another couple of videos based on what we're doing to survive COVID-19, my weight loss exercise that I want to kind of do and achieve and stuff like that, little Mark's routine, and also other bits. I'm going to try and vlog and video as much as I can, especially during this time. I want to kind of give little Mark an insight as to what was going on while he was growing up. I'm going to feature little Mark a little bit more as well, and maybe big Mark, if he's up for it, I might do that. But that's it. So I'll see you all soon. Hope you're all well and stay at home. Bye.